Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and once again we ask the question, why am I here? How have I got this far in life? Welcome to Art of Rock, and we are going to talk about rock and roll and making art. Today we're going to be focusing on promotion with some other questions as well from my esteemed guests, who are actually gods in human skins, because we like to do that. Join us every Sunday here, boom, on Angelspit's Twitch, and we're going to talk about this stuff. Also, this was made possible with Angelspit's Patreon. These people here are part of Angelspit's Patreon, and they keep me going, and I'm going to try and keep them going. So if you want to join Angelspit's Patreon, please do it. You can do it for as low as $3 a month, which is like tipping your bartender. There's a whole bunch of new merch on Angelspit's website. Go check it out. Like t-shirts and crazy stuff. Plus, there's new music on Angelspit's Bandcamp, and there's something very cool happening that will be announced extremely soon. So jump on there. Last week, I did a stream, and it was like kissing God. And you can go watch that stream there. It was called Ghost City Radio. It goes for about an hour. People on Angelspit's Patreon get a free copy of that recording. And I was really happy with it. It was really good fun. And actually, I lie, it wasn't last week. It was the week before. But this Thursday, I'm doing another one. Boom. And it's called Heliosphere. That's where it is. Join me. It's going to be a 1-hour improvised synth thing. And it's going to go from drones to instrumental to therapy. My God. Therapy. And if you want your music non-stop and your action hard, MTV TV is the place to get it. And keep an eye on MTV. It's this Wednesday at 2 p.m., Diana. Right. Angelspit's got a new track coming up on the new program that's coming up, and so do a whole bunch of other bands. So if you want to get to know a whole bunch of new bands, MTV TV is the place to do it. And Diana, if you can do me a big favor and put a link to that Wednesday details, and it's got all the different times. I think it's 2 p.m. in LA, if I recall correctly, on Wednesday. Hi. I want to talk about promotion. And we hate talking about promotion because it's the unglamorous, sucky thing. But as I'm scrolling through my Facebook, oh, God, I hate Facebook. Increasingly, I see so many people asking about promotion. So this is a thought about how is a good way to promote. And I'm going to be splattering my way through this. So if anybody has a question during this spiel, please jump in. And like I said to my amazing Patreon humans, if you're on the thing right now, please jump onto the Twitch and you will see what I am talking about, which is right there. Thank you, TextPad. Don't you look good? So, the first thing you're going to need is assets. And that's online assets. So that's your personal Facebook. That's your Twitter account. Yes, people still read Twitter. That's your Instagram. That's your band or your project's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Tumblr or Reddit. I'll just quickly say Reddit is a great place to go if you want to be reminded that you're shit and people hate you. Because on Reddit, they seem to speak their mind. And sometimes that can be pretty brutal. And of course, the big rule of the internet is don't read the comments. Anyway, so that's the first thing. You've got to organize your output, where you are putting this information. The second thing you need to do is have the information. And on this example here, no, not that example there. It's coming. Trust me, I'm a professional. We can see a whole bunch of things that we're going to be pimping. The first thing is add the Ignorance Cartel, which is Angelspit's new album, to your Spotify playlist. 14 tracks, angry, thumping, cyberpunk. And this is a free thing. So go and listen to it on Spotify. So there's the link to the Spotify, and also there's the hashtags that we're going to be using for this fantastic Moments in Mayhem. Look, it's my face right there. Look. Then the next thing I'm going to be pimping is there's a merch pack Angelspit has. It's $20 and it's free US shipping. It's a random t-shirt, a random CD, and a dog tag for $20. What craziness is that? There's the link to it, and there's some hashtags. Another thing is, here's something free. Go and watch me spieling about band merch. So this is a little blurb about it. It says, the title says, watch band merch number 1, product, which means there's going to be more. In this is the first of many blipverts on band merch. In this installment, I will share my thoughts on the different products that you can use and turn into band merch. And there's a link, and there's some hashtags. And you'll notice those hashtags aren't very good. I need to work on them. They need to say band merch and stuff like that. So your hashtags have to be relevant. And I didn't, because I did this like beforehand, and I have a cat on my lap that's just shedding hair and so angry at me because that's my life. Then the fourth thing, I've lost count of how many things there are, is live stream gig, Heliosphere, improvised synth hellscape. Then it gives the time. It's going to be this Thursday, the 24th, at 12 noon LA time, 3 p.m. if you're in if you're in New York, and 7 p.m. if it's Greenwich Mean Time. And I need to double check that because they've gone on to daylight savings. More on that in a moment. Join Angelspit for a live improvised synth jam exploring deep, dark, ambient hellscapes in space. That's the blurb. Then there's the link to the Facebook event, and it shows you where it's going to be happening on Twitch. And then there's some hashtags. So each of these things have a title, and the title should be snappy. I don't know if mine are. I try. Then there should be a really short blurb about what that thing is. Then there is the relevant link, and then there are relevant hashtags. And as you can tell also from this example, with Heliosphere, there are probably some better hashtags I could have used for that. Live gig. Next, I have my assets, and that's my personal Facebook. It's the band Facebook. It's the Instagram. It's the Twitter. And it's also Black Pill, Red Pill. And hold on, if you give me a second, I'm going to paste that into the comments. If I do this right. Boom! So I just put into the, and I'll put it over on Twitch as well. Hold on, I can't because the world's exploding at me. So if you have something going on, post it to Black Pill, Red Pill, because Black Pill, Red Pill wants to hear. It's for people who love music. So, hold on, here we go. Boom! That's the Black Pill, Red Pill Facebook, and that has no affiliation to the Red Pill misogynist fucks. It has nothing to do with those misogynist fucks. In fact, I had to change. The last group got banned, got taken down, because Facebook went, oh, the algorithm sees Red Pill. Oh, we're not going to post that. It's got nothing to do with the Red Pill fucking misogynist fuck-offs. Anyway, so I have my assets to which I am going to be promoting these things. And what I'm going to be doing is I might drop something on one of those websites or one of those assets every 2 days or 3 days. That's up to you. Sometimes I do 2 days, sometimes every 3 days. So every second day, I'm going to drop. We'll say 2 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these things, each of these assets, and I'm going to lay out on my thing. Okay, I'm going to do it right here. So as far as the first personal Facebook, that has to be done manually. So I have to sit there and do it manually. But as far as the Angelspit Facebook, what I'm going to do every second day at 1 p.m. LA time, 1 p.m., I'm going to go through and drop these things. And I'm going to start today on the 20th of June. So on the 20th of June, I'm going to drop the go listen to something for free. Then on the 22nd at 1 p.m., it's going to be free merch pack. Then on the 24th, it's going to be watch Angelspit's band, Carl talking about Bandmit. You get the gist. 1 p.m. Then on Black Pill, Red Pill, because it's also on Facebook, I'm going to do it on the 21st. And I'm going to drop that at 1 p.m. as well. Now, I can go through and I can schedule that stuff on Facebook. I see somebody mention the later.com, and it's completely free. That's a good thing to use. Thank you, Julius. Actually, Diana, if you want to grab... Oh, she did. You're the best. Julius, you did. You put it on the Twitch. Thank you. So use later.com. Does it also do Instagram? Oh, it does. Great.
Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, the bird thing, Twitter.
The bird
everything.
thing. Okay, cool. No, that's excellent. I also have 2 other Facebook groups as well. One is the Cyberpunk Riot Squad, which is like the Angelspit fan group. I'll post onto that about 8 p.m. So I get Australia, Japan, New Zealand. And I also have my own, Zug Von Rock thing, and I'll post onto that at 7 a.m. so I can hit Europe a bit earlier. And I will get all of these things and I will splatter them around. So in that 2-week period or 1-week period where I'm posting every second day, everything's getting a dusting of information going out. As far as Twitter goes, I'm doing Twitter, Instagram, and my personal thing by hand. After seeing, maybe I should try that later.com idea. And that'll save me some time. One thing I have found, because I used to use another one and I forgot what it was called, and I found that it was pushing things back. It was pushing, it was making posts, Facebook would see them and they would suppress the posts. I don't know if it's still the same on this one. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm going to give it a try and we'll see what happens. So... there are other Facebook groups as well that might be goth, industrial, or whatever you're into, sites that you might want to be dropping things to once a week, once every 2 weeks. You don't want to overdo them. And they're the sort of places where it might be best to be sending free stuff. Like, go listen to the album for free on Spotify. Or go watch this thing I did that's talking about band merch. Because a lot of people with promotion... the problem is selling yourself. And selling yourself is really hard and it really sucks for most people. For some people, it's not a problem, and to those people, blessings in abundance. Actually, if you have a band, once in the good old days when there used to be these things called bands, somebody would be the person that would be pushing. So, and it'd be their job because they're good at it. I don't think I'm good at it, but I do it because I have to do it. Because if I don't do it, you're going to disappear. Doing videos that are exciting and crazy and awesome is even better. Doing short 30-second videos or 10-second videos, because things like TikTok, and Instagram, they respond really well to that sort of thing. I'm going to throw the floor open now. If anybody has questions or anything else besides Adam that they want to talk about and make suggestions on, I really want to hear. No one. Look at that. Not a soul. Okay, Adam. What?
Of course, I was just waiting for the opportunity to raise my hand because I know everybody hates promotions, and there are things that I hate about promotions, but I love promotions and have been doing it for a really long time, since I was a teenager and played in my first band. And, for me, it started off with the high school courses, taking like print shop and stuff like that, learning how to do offset printing and camera layups and all that. Because in the late 80s, early 90s, that was how we made the best looking flyers. It was that, and using the photocopier to make punk rock flyers and cutting it all out by hand, and until you could finally afford a paper guillotine. But, you've touched on so many things that I've already got an envelope full of notes and need to find another scrap envelope here. But, the thing that drives me crazy is Facebook and social media, because the rules and the landscape keep changing. Like, some days you can invite 50 people to your event, and some days you can invite 500. It used to be that that if you had, well, it used to be basically that you could communicate with like everybody in your thing, and now you get the tiniest percentage of exposure from Facebook. It has changed so much since Facebook started. It is vastly different from the MySpace landscape, and so as a promoter, we have to keep experimenting all the time to come up with ways around these algorithms. Like for a while, the joke was that if there were boobs or cats in your post, it would get more views. That's not really the case anymore. Like even cats don't get as much attention as they used to, and that scares me. um I have discovered for myself anyway that Facebook ads have turned into an absolute money pit. It's a waste of money. I get no further engagement from Facebook ads. Like I stopped spending money on Facebook, and I have not noticed a difference. Um Facebook groups are amazing. We talk a lot about Sounds and Shadows, right? Which is Ken Magerman's group page that's attached to his reviews program, his reviews site, and of course, any place where you get a gathering of minds that is how would you say, well curated, well managed, it becomes a resource. And one of the things that is tricky about the social media landscape is that it is like looking for diamonds in a dump. It's they're few and far between, and there's a lot of garbage out there. So the best way, of course, to find those is like the old school raves. If you want to know where the next party is, you have to be at the party. So the best thing to do, and share those resources, share those groups with the other artists in your community. One thing that I really wanted to get onto before we move on is going to be actually useful. I want to tell a quick story, and it's about what I call the secret to good graphics, because I think good graphics are such an all of these resources that we've been talking about are like the thing to do, but you need to have something to do it with, and graphics are that thing, and that includes things like pictures of your band, or you doing cool things, or artwork that you make that's not music, or any of those kind of things are engagement, because it's social media and boutique entertainment is all about the connection between the artist and the listener, the supporter, the patron. And in the underground music scene, like Julius was asking earlier, can you actually make a living doing this in the underground? And Carl, emphatically, yes. It's a spectrum in this respect, but it really is about finding, not so much it's not you finding your supporters, but the people that love your stuff finding you, and who is capable of supporting it, right? Like you want all the people to hear your music, because that's why you make music. Some of them are going to be able to afford to help you a little further with furthering your music because they love your music, and those are the most important people to the financial side of your career. And the way to find those, of course, is through all those people that can't afford to help you financially, but do share your stuff on Facebook and Twitter and all that. Now, the secret to good graphics. Here's my quick story. I was on a DJ tour. I went down to visit my friends in Charlottesville, and I took my promoter buddy Chad out there, and he plays in Spider Lilies. He's a guitar player for Spider Lilies. Anyway, we went into this cafe down there, and there is literally a wall of flyers, a post board of flyers, and 8.5 by 11s, right? And I said, hold on, dude, close your eyes. I made him close his eyes. And I turned him around while he's got his eyes covered to face the board, And I said, okay, now open your eyes. And like, I gave him 2 seconds and I said, now close your eyes. I said, tell me what you remember from that board. And he said, this poster on that board. And I said, learn from that poster, because that poster stands out on all this fucking noise.
And that poster was?
It was a like a hippie jam.
What did it look like? What were the graphic content?
The graphics were bold, easy to read. Like the main thing about it was that it was easy to read, and that the graphic was bold, and that it was not a bunch of detail-y clutter. There was not a shit ton of text on it. It was, this is what it is, this is where it is, this is when it is. I have a very strong design theory about that. You guys have seen my stuff for like Wicked Party and MTV TV and all this. When I do my posters, and I'm very much an on the concrete club promoter. I hang my posters all over fucking town. I'm one of those douchebags that gets out there with my staple gun and will put a poster on anything. I'll put a poster on your Porsche, damn it. And I'll use my staple gun. No, I don't really. But I do use Funtac. And I go through that stuff a lot, actually. That the 3M tacky stuff is like the absolute best, because it sticks to everything. It sticks to glass, it sticks to paint, it sticks to other paper. So get that 3M sticky stuff if you're doing street promotions. And when I do my street promotions, I want my 8.5 by 11. I want you to be able to tell what it says from like 30 or 40 feet away. And so when I do the Wicked Party, it's super huge. It's the Wicked Party, and it's diagonal because it catches your eye. And then it has the big ass graphic, and then the information's at the bottom. Right. So even if you're not registering that it's a party, you see that graphic, right? And it sticks in your head. And of course, the biggest thing with promotions is repetition. People don't remember anything until they've seen it at least 3 times. But if you have the posters all the way down the block, they're going to see the Wicked Party, 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 the Wicked Party. And at some point they're going to go, what the fuck is that anyway? And at some point you'll be able to walk around town and go, hey, to go up to a random stranger and be like, hey, have you ever heard of this Wicked Party? They'll be like, yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never gone. It does sound interesting though. And like, yeah, you know what? I thought I might check it out too. But yeah, so big, bold graphics, like high contrast, very legible is very important. Just go, I see a lot of stuff that is real. Like one thing that I hate is rave flyers where they put every single DJ name and it's like, festival poster, like Star Wars credits or something like that. You can't even tell what it is or when it is or where it is or what's going on or anything. It's just a whole bunch of names on a poster. I think the most important thing on it is you have to have a graphic that says somehow what it is without any words, and that you have to be able to grab the attention on a great deal of noise, like a cafe full of posters and all that color and noise that's around you. You have to stand out on top of it. And now I'm gonna give up the floor because I have ranted on well enough.
Thank you. We're going to start keeping it short because time is against us today. But thank you, Adam. Diana, I see you. Julius, did you want to talk? Because I saw your hand and it went down.
I was saying save that for later.
Okay, cool. And Rob, I know you want to talk as well. Let's go, Diana.
Okay. As Adam was saying with the repetition, use the social media for the tools that it is, for the billboards that they are. Little things like the banner that's at the top of your, behind your picture on Facebook. We change that weekly to remind, hey, this is what's coming up. I'm not sure about the repetition, because then people might lose interest as much as changing it up. So my post on Instagram might be slightly different than the one that's on Facebook, just to grab your attention. So it will be a different picture. It will be a different description, but something that changes it up. So yeah, it's talking about the same thing, but it's like, ooh, this is different. Maybe I should pay attention to it. The other thing is, the algorithm likes faces. The algorithm loves faces better than it does graphics. So if you're using graphics, maybe also the next post include a picture of yourself in your, whatever outfit, or, hey, this is what I'm doing today, and by the way, I'm getting ready for this event coming up. But the algorithm does like faces a lot. So yes, the graphics are very important, but you also have to start thinking about how to get around the algorithm to get the attention. And in terms of event invites, I'm noticing that the actual creators of the events have been limited, but if you can ask your followers and people attending the event to also share and invite their, friends, and expand the reach out that way.
Thank you. Rob, did you want to throw in on this?
Yeah, my experience is, a little bit like Adam's back in the dark ages of being the guy who produces all the posters and writes up the local news, the local music magazine for the town. I grew up in a country town in Australia of about 50, 60,000 people, and getting talent into the town to play at gigs at bars was super difficult, like big names, and also getting the small bands and the solo artists pushed out to the big cities was also super difficult. So it was all about timing. It was all about having a marketing plan and aligning the stars, a little bit like what Carl was saying with targeted advertising in all these different areas on the network, because getting the word out across the network is one thing. Getting it to all align to a major event where you capture an audience, however big or small that audience might be, is in your plan. You need to make sure that you start with something that's achievable. We would go from making a demo tape or a demo disc, giving it to somebody somebody in the bar who wants to promote a single artist. You're going to compete against maybe 20 or 30 other single artists in that area. That's a lot different to me going and seeing a band in a big city like Frenzal Rhomb in Australia and saying, hey, you guys need to do a circuit in Albury-Wodonga because you've got a huge following there. If we can get you in on one of these big locations, we'll pack the house and we'll put in some local bands who are the same genre, who are going to kick ass, and you're going to network with those smaller bands. So back home, we're getting the best bands, the Battle of the Bands guys, to come and be the support band for Frenzal Rhomb at a major venue. And you're pushing out locally posters everywhere or social media everywhere saying, here is the band, the local band that's going to be the support band to this kick-ass punk rock band, Frenzal Rhomb. So having that network, planning out your campaign, getting that advertising out targeted, and if it's 10 people that turn up or 50 people, it doesn't matter. The reality is you've got to get that momentum, and then you've got to continue that momentum. If you stop at the first gig, it was pointless. Out.
Thank you, Rob. And I'll just say it's so good to hear someone pronounce my name the right way. Can you just go on microphone and say my name again, please?
Carl, and fucking Carl.
Right. It's not Coral, for Christ's fucking sake. It's Carl. It's not Kyle, it's Carl. Thanks, Rob. I could delve into that because I did university in Lismore in the fucking early 90s, and my God, I think we have a lot in common. And I'll also say 60,000 is a big fucking city in Australia. Jesus Christ. And I will also say that at the peak, and I'm sorry I'm digressing here, but at its peak, the city in the world during the punk rock new wave movement, the city in the world that had the most bands on any night was not New York, it was not London, it was Melbourne. No one rocks like Australia. I'll just say that. Okay, so right, this is making me angry because it's so frustrating. It's what's really curious is that like the realities of doing a show, like a real show with flyers, is different to doing a web show. And I think I want to focus on web shows here because that's the reality. Like, if I'm promoting my album or if I'm promoting my t-shirts or hey, listen to this thing on Spotify, it's about the internet. I have found that from the initial throwing the thing into the pool, for those ripples, to say the thing on the internet, for those ripples to hit as many people as possible, or within my circle of influence, my market, is 2 to 6 months. And yes, a face on everything. That's why every Angelspit album has a face on it, because the algorithm likes it and people like it. As far as changing up images go, I think it's a really strong idea, but you have to keep hitting. That image is as important as the product. In fact, in the internet, that image is the product, because that's the thing you click on. And, that image, when you make that image, it's got to be a square for Instagram. It's got to be a bar for the Facebook event. It's got to be a slightly larger bar for YouTube. There's all these different formats that image has got to work on. But nevertheless, it's that image. Adam, I see your hand. Go. Keep it short.
Yeah, real briefly, just a few things to jump in on things that have already been said, and going right from where you guys are talking right now. I just wrote down consistent branding, fresh content. So kind of merging what you both are saying, consistent branding, fresh content, like what Diana's saying about changing the text and all that, but what you're saying about having that consistent image, because what you are presenting is, I love what you just said about like the image is the product. So moving right along, comments on posts increase the visibility in the algorithm. That was another thing. Event invite sharing, that is going to be a huge way of how we get things around on these internet shows, right? Like, for my DJ shows, like there's a handful of DJs like Saga and those guys, and we're kind of like, hey, you want to do event trades, right? And so we'll go and I'll invite the 50 people that it lets me invite on his show, and he'll, because I know who the 50 people are that are going to be interested in that, you know what I mean? And so you take that few minutes, you invite people to other shows, they invite people that are going to be interested to your shows, and that works. Going to what Rob was saying, first of all, just a real sidebar, Rob, thank you so much for the pictures again. And what you were just saying about local bands opening for touring headliners is huge. And I'm going to go way on back and say that I booked Ego Likeness to open for the Cruise Shadows, and then next thing you know, they were on world tour with them. And so, promoters that find a band that they love and connect it with an audience that loves a band that is touring, that is a headlining draw, can make a huge difference in a career. So promoters, book those local bands too. Book them with the headliners. Get the headliners in and book those locals.
Thank you. Aaron, go. Keep it short.
Hey, so I'd like to just re-engage the idea that the street teams are not dead.
if you want to already send out things to help people further your channel, further the ripples, as Carl said, you want to send things to them. You want to show your appreciation for people that are willing to help you broadcast. And I think if you had special things like handwritten notes or certain types of merchandise for your street team, they would kick even more ass, because they already want to promote your project, but you're sending them something really cool, something physical, something tangible, something they could hand out, but also something they could keep because they felt like, hell yeah, I'm a part of this. This is badass. Yeah, I'll promote that. Easy day.
All right, thank you. That's such a really good, point. And the whole thing about the Internet Street Team, it's really, really important that when people let you down, you don't feel negativity towards them, and you don't feel negativity towards yourself. That it's been my experience a lot where a street team is going to fail you. And even if you're sending them free stuff, to them it's something fun, and you got to remember that, and you've got to treasure that and encourage them, because quite often these people remind you that at the end of the day it's a band, and bands are fun. So don't ever let that get you down. And Julius, I think you or somebody was talking about, or maybe you, Diana, about, I call them pillars. Those people who love your band, and they'll do anything. They'll even drive a truck through the city to help you they'll do anything. And your pillars are so important. And Julius, I know even at your stage of your career, and Alex, when you guys are, starting to roll out, and Eric, you're going to start noticing pillars where people go on board and they go, what is this band? They will be with you for life. And something that Lucia from KMFDM taught me is that if you shake someone's hand and you thank them, they'll stand by you. Because you have shared something real with that person, and that's what this is about. It's not about money. It's not about finance. This is about a real, genuine experience. And Lucia is one of the most strong female role models I've ever encountered. And to say that she's a slut shamer or anything negative at all is absolute fucking bullshit. I'll just put that out there. And Captain K is the least homophobic human being I have ever met. They are the most excellent people who will get down in the shit with you no matter what you're going through, and they will fucking lift you out of it no matter who you are, what your belief systems are, or who you choose to be. Speak ill of KMFDM and we're going to have a problem. Okay, I'm going to now relinquish after that very rough moment. And does anybody else want to throw something in there? Rob?
Yeah, just a little bit on branding. I'm dealing with a number of young single artists in Australia at the moment who want to get promoted over in the US. And one of them's a rap artist, and one of them's a heavy metal musician. And the painful part of it is it doesn't matter how good they are, their names are not memorable and their branding is shit. So both kids are both using 2-letter acronyms, which is their initials of their names. So you can imagine how unimpressive and unmemorable something like CS is, for example. The music is kick-ass. And I've got to actively go into Twitch sessions with other promoters and other DJs, get their music reviewed live, and then I send that link of that review back to them, and then they circulate that link to their crowd. So they get, hey, this is a really good artist or a really good producer or promoter, loves their music, and they share that link to expand their network. So that's what they're doing over there. The problem is they're coming back and saying, your Twitch account's got a different name to your YouTube account's got a different name to your Bandcamp account. I can't find you. I'm not going to waste time searching for you. If you can give me a link that I can listen to your tracks, that's awesome. I will play them. But but I cannot pronounce your name. I cannot announce your name. People are not going to hear it. They don't know who you are. They're not going to find you even when I've actually played your track. So really important is having a memorable and identifiable brand. Over.
Brilliant. I'm going to pick up on that after Alex. Go, Alex.
Yes, really short. I think it's important that you consider that your album cover also looks good when it's small, because when they're going through Spotify, you have to remember that it will be like stamp size.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider.
Thank you, man. That's all right. Firstly, I'll pick up on what Rob said. Make sure people can spell your band too. Like, make sure it's not some clever spelling, because people aren't going to find it. Secondly, you might want to consider making sure that there is nothing else, or there's not too many other things called by your band name. And when I do an album now, I will do a Google search on that album, and I will make sure that there are not 10 trillion if I write in, like, for example, the worst album name I've ever done was The Product. Really proud of that album, but you type in Angelspit The Product, and Jesus fucking Christ. That's why I will go through and I will call albums things like The Ignorance Cartel. Because when I Googled The Ignorance Cartel, there was like hardly anything there. I've already got the next name of the next album lined up because there's nothing there. You might want to try something similar that with, like, I think that's called a Googleplex or something, a word that is very uncommon. And spell it. Never call your band Necessary or The Necessities. No one on earth can spell that fucking word. And also, I'll pick up, and don't put Q. If it's technique, don't spell it with a Q. Just fucking spell it the way it is. Jesus. And also, what Alex said about the importance of size, like, that's critical. Like, it's got to look good at 100 picks by 100 picks. You have to define that as that's somebody's album, and I recognize that album, because it, like Adam was saying, if it's too busy, it's going to get lost. I'll shut up now. Aaron, Grim, hit me.
I'll keep it truncated. I'll say that a lot of images are the bane of my existence, but I will say the biggest keyword here would be a vector. If you guys want to blow it up to the size of a billboard or smash it down to the size of a thumbnail, get somebody to make you a fucking incredible vector, and that won't distort a bunch of images. I'm sure there's a bunch of tools to do it. You might be able to hire somebody to do it, but vector is a big thing, because it looks good until you stress test it.
Yeah. Does anyone want to throw in? We can continue on this one. Alex brought up a question about mixing live before, or we can just keep rolling with this. No one? I know. Promotion. We love talking about promotion. Rob, go.
Just about target audience. Understand your target audience. It's no point having a great marketing plan if you have no idea who you're marketing to. And it takes research and time to work out who that target audience is, how they communicate and network, and what is the best medium that they use to communicate, because it may not be what you think. They could be on the fucking dark web for all you know. But you've got to find where they're communicating and how to get the word out to that target audience. Over.
Thank you. I'm going to pick up on that after Diana. The floor is yours, Diana.
Some days it is difficult to understand. The rules for each platform keep changing. Lately, it's been that on Instagram, like, I'll share one of your posts, and then I'll be flagged for paid promotional content. I'm not being paid, but they see it as a branding, so they're flagging me because they think it's paid promotional content. And so then they want me to connect with the person that I'm getting paid for, but I'm not getting paid for it, but there's nowhere to complain to on Instagram. It's difficult to keep up with the rules sometimes.
Yeah. Was there anything else, or?
No, there's sometimes when keeping up with, okay, so I'm getting all of my content out so that everybody can see it and I'm sharing it, and then they change the rules as to what I can share. That gets frustrating.
Yeah. Every time I share something for MTV TV on Instagram, I get flagged for promoted content. MTV TV is the place to go, actually, if you're looking for non-stop content. And if you're in a band, email them and they will play your shit, because MTV TV are excellent. Jump in on MTV TV. They're going on Twitch right now. And Diana, you put that in the thing, right? There you go. I wasn't paid for that. That was unpaid promotion. Suck it, Instagram. I want to pick up on real estate. Firstly, Bandcamp. As you give away or sell stuff on Bandcamp, Bandcamp will hold their emails, and Bandcamp will send out. You can, whenever you release something, all of those people who are following you on Bandcamp, they're going to they'll get a little ping. You can also send out an email to all of those people. You can also extract those emails and put them in your own MailChimp or whatever email software you're using. It's the best. Also, I don't understand why people hate on Spotify, because when you look at, if you get played on the radio, how much you get played for that, and if you get played on Spotify, I'm talking one person hears it on the radio compared to one person hears it on Spotify. You get about paid 30 times more on Spotify. Just saying. I don't fucking understand. Spotify is really important. And it is really important that it's not just Spotify. But like, Spotify, to my understanding, has better tools for the artist than Apple Music does, or whatever the fuck they're calling it these days. With Spotify, when you have a new release, you can send that to DJs. They will push that towards people on their playlist and the recommended playlist. You have to claim the artist. You have to go on to where your artist is, and you have to claim it. And it'll walk you through on how you claim an artist. Plus, when you release something, once again, I believe everybody gets notified, hey, they just released something. Go listen to it on Spotify. It takes a long time to build this shit up, but you've got to build it up. I am also working with a band that will get rolled out soon. And we've just had to we had to get the Spotify, we had to get the Instagram, we had to do all of that shit. So they have the real estate in place so that they can make claims on their Spotify artist, because Spotify's going to say, what's your Instagram, what's your Facebook, what's your email, what's your Twitter, da-da-da-da-da. That's it. Grim, I think you were up first, and then I'll go to you, Eric.
All right. Yeah, I just got two quick ideas to throw out there. So I think scout out, what your local conventions are, or whether or not you got an event that could have a table. It may be well worth it to invest in that time, that space, especially conventions. If you dig on meeting new people and getting pictures with them, we get lucky in that they kind of draw toward Grim Reapers and they dig on the look. But if they're going to take a picture with you, that's a prime time just to be like, hey, by the way, check this out. Give them a card, give them whatever. The second thing I would say is just more cross promotion amongst one another. It's absolutely free for you to put a tail end on the end of your stream, your video, your whatever, and say, by the way, if you like this, check out links below. I know that sounds very, foot and mouth, but I just don't think there's enough of it. So you just got to keep that going. Share the wealth.
Eric, thank you, Aaron. Eric.
I just had a question. I come from the old school, making flyers, punk rock shows in the 90s as well, and I had a blast doing that. I like the human interaction. I liked advertising and promoting. I can't stand it now. I don't like the internet doing it. My question is really I feel like I'm always not promoting myself. I feel like I'm spamming people and shoving it down people's throats. Is there a line that you cross? Is it how much can you promote until it becomes you're bothering people or spamming them or they don't want to see you anymore? I don't know if it's a self-confidence thing in me, but I don't like doing it because I feel like I'm bothering people with it.
I'm going to jump in. Adam, I'll throw to your short rant, very short, and I'm going to give a short rant now. The line is way back there. And when you want to do this seriously, you have to do it. And it's a really good question. People always tell me that I blurt too much, but it's like I have to reach, the pond I was talking about? The ripples aren't hitting the edge of that pond. So I've got to keep throwing that friggin' stone into the water. That's why every 2 days, that whole rollout thing I was showing before, that's why I do that. I personally don't think there's too much. People know that I'm a band, but they know you're a band, and if they don't like it, don't follow me.
Yeah.
So that's why you also set up as many different avenues of throwing the stone into the pool as you possibly can. So find a Reddit that isn't going to tear you to shreds. Find a TikTok, find a Tumblr, find a group, find all of this stuff. And remember, if you're going to post to a onto another Facebook group that is a gothic or metal community, make sure it's free. And if you're pimping your new album, do it once. Only do it once on those sites, or they'll let you know. But free shit, you can, hey, go listen to my stuff for free on Spotify. And on that, I noticed somebody in the chat said that their Spotify is so tiny. Here's an idea that I really need to implement myself. Get together with some other bands and do a Spotify playlist. And obviously MTV TV. But do a Spotify playlist. And each of you put forward your best track or your best 2 tracks, and you might have 5 bands, so that's 10 tracks in album, 10 tracks in total. Not too many. And now all of you get that playlist, URL, and pimp the fuck out of it, because you might have 50 people. Julius might have 50, I might have 50, and Alex might have 50, and Adam might have 50. So that's 250 people. Might be a bit of overlap, but if all of us are hitting that thing, you grow, your Spotify grows, etc. Now, if you have videos, obviously send them to MTV TV, but also set up a playlist on YouTube. So I'm going to share my video, I'm going to get your video and your video and your video, and we're going to have a playlist. And we're going to pimp that playlist URL. Because the really cool thing about Spotify and YouTube is that when people hit that and you come up, it will have links to you, and they can follow those links and they can add that to your own playlist. And whenever I do something with Spotify, I say, add to your Spotify playlist, the whole album, go, do it, yay! Take it, play it. Yep, that's it. Adam.
Sweet. I love everything that you just had to say there, buddy. Especially that it's not spam if they want it. It's not spam if they want it. It's not spam if they want it. It takes a lot of work to get your stuff out there, and you can assume that people aren't seeing it.
Yes.
If they're seeing it too much, they would let you know. You are always going to be accused of spamming. You are always going to, somebody is always going to accuse you of spamming, and fuck them, because like they're the person that doesn't understand how much work you're putting into this. They're literally the person who thinks that they're in control of some bullshit. It's not on you. It's not on you. And information is the key. You asked, what's the line? What's the line between spamming and not spamming? You're not spamming if you're providing information. And as Carl said, if you're giving something away, that's not spam, man. That's me giving you a chunk of who the fuck I am. You know, like, information is crucial to what we're doing. And by letting people know what you are doing, all you are doing is connecting them more to each other as well.
Thank you, Adam. Oh, and Eric, I really love your Facebook, Eric. It's really good. But some people are saying you're hitting it a bit too much. Not me. I'm fine with it. But just some people are saying maybe you're spamming a bit. Just maybe a bit. Maybe a bit too much. Maybe lay off it a bit. Some people are saying that, not me. I really like it. Whenever you see something like this, kick them in the dick as hard as you fucking can. Because that bullshit is going to come from your friends and your family and people who want to put you the fuck down. Fuck them. That's exactly what Adam said, but he didn't say fuck. Fuck them. Julius, go.
There's nothing much to add. I think what Adam said was really good.
What I said wasn't?
No, what you
Fuck
said was
you.
shit. I hate you. Okay, Eric, I totally get the feeling, like the feeling to have the impression to spam, but it's not as your impression is actually. I think you can only win this game by being this forward, cheeky
Cunt.
Cunt, yes. I'm sorry, it's so hot in here. And it's not spamming. I think it's also about visibility, because the mighty algorithm we are talking about all the time, and you need to post continuously to get the visibility, and that's not spamming, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but Julius, I've been following your thing, and some people just say, some people, not me, they're saying that, maybe you're just, a bit too much.
That's
Lay off
fine,
it a
Carl.
bit.
I don't care.
Good man. And congrats again. I saw your video on MTV TV, and it looked great. And I'm also enjoying what you're doing on Twitch. It's really, really good what you're doing.
Likewise.
Thanks, bro.
Likewise. Thank you.
Aaron, go.
I would say, just to, throw another hat in the ring, spamming is only spamming if you're selling shit. If you're selling a bunch of second, third, fourth rate bullshit, if you put up, your fake fucking merchandise that's stealing from another artist, because there's just way too much of that shit, Here's the pretty picture, here's this, but I can get that to you for a better deal. That's spamming. But if you're like, fuck yes, I believe in this. This is my art. This is my instrumental. This is my photo. This is every fucking thing that I do to try to make an impact, and just push out awesome content. You'll never be spamming if you're, like I said, if you're not just selling junk. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I had something to add on that, but it was bullshit, so I won't do that. Oh, Mark, finally. Let me hear your voice, darling.
So I'm going to disagree with basically everyone here, although I will caveat this. My quality of life is not dependent on me promoting myself. I get paid way too much to do what I do, and it's a salary position and all. But anyway, I think in a sense, it may not explicitly be spamming, but to me personally, I find it annoying. It's annoying if someone's like, hey, check out my single. Next day, hey, I have another single. Check out this single. Next day, hey, I have another single. Check out this single. And it's just like, basically every day there's a new portion of the single, when it's like, I'd prefer if you would just like send me an EP around once a week. Or like just a talk, if you're going to have something like it's every day. Like I understand you're producing a lot of stuff, that's great, but like spread it out a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Mark. That's an interesting point. So you're talking about, because I want to address this, you're talking about somebody dropping a different single every day.
A different single or a different like something. Like,
all right, so you've
if
obviously...
you were like doing like a comic or something, and it's every day,
right,
there's a new page.
Right.
Just every day.
Right. Okay. This is an interesting point. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is a really interesting point, because there is a theory that if you drop a new single every month, you will be able to, and you pimp the shit out of that thing over the course of a month, you will be able to drill something, and like Adam just said in the things in the comments, the importance about having a plan and a plan rollout. If you're aiming once a month, that's good. I personally think once every 2 months is better, just because the amount of time it takes for the ripples to hit the edge of the lake, and we know what we're talking about there. But in the 80s, they did it every 3 months. So if you dropped a single, it was a single every 3 months. So the whole release of first single was 3 months before the album. Then when the album came out, you dropped another single celebrating that the album's out. Then there's another single 3 months after the release. Everything's pointing to the single and ultimately the album. But no, I appreciate that. It's the issue we've got here is that there are people now who are, as you know, that this is their income. So finding that balance is very, very important. I know I'm guilty of that. I'm fucking Eric and Julius are as well, because those guys are spammers. I'm kidding. But no, that seriously, this is important. So if anybody else wants to jump in on this to talk about the planning of a rollout, go. Oh, Alex, I see your hand.
Yes, again to spamming. I think it really depends on the type of content, because if it's like really different and really interesting to look at, I don't mind it. But I followed this local band and I posted literally, "Hey, look, I'm eating a sandwich," and I really don't care. Please post about your next gig or so.
Okay, I appreciate that. I want to ask you and everybody a question about this, because this is where I am so fucking confused about my life. Is that I am told that posting something personal that allows people to make contact with you as an art form helps people interact with your band. That it is a criteria of the new digital age. I love headbutting water balloons, for those who don't know, because it suggests sound. And I've always wondered, like, Jesus, am I not doing that? Like, if I'm ever doing something with the wife, it's like, oh, fuck, I don't know if I'm allowed to post this or not. I don't know. I'm throwing it open now. Do you want to hear about my awesome, epic barbecues with my wife? And me headbutting water balloons with my nieces and nephews? Or do you just want me to keep showing you pictures of my studio? That is really funny, because most people don't give a flying fuck about my studio. Oh, look, buttons and bleeps. I don't fucking care. I want to hear more music. I want to see you headbutting more water balloons. Tell me, what the fuck should I do? I would ask you, Julius, but you spam. I don't know who's... Oh, look, all these hands have gone up. I'm just going to start... I don't know where I'm supposed to start because I'm an idiot. Mark, no, you weren't first. Alex, you were first. Go.
I think it really depends on how mundane it is, because like at a certain time, it was like really extreme. I think if you have like one highlight of your life, it's better than like posting every single bit.
What would you suggest? What would you feel comfortable doing? I see your hand, Julius.
So what I would do is like snapshots of like things I know that are cool but don't end up on a track, like they don't fit or something. That would be one thing.
Okay.
Or like once in a while, beautiful studio snapshots, or better if you have someone else who can take pictures of you making music. So it's like as if the person would be there. And I think if there's like something interesting in your life or something that's like visually capturing, then it's also worth it, but not every single day.
Okay.
And also like reminders that you are going to play a gig also, because like I often follow artists who know when there's their new release, and so yeah.
All right, Julius, I want to throw to you in a second. So this is all really excellent, but there's one problem with that, and that is you have just nailed your demographic to males aged 25 to 45. Because that's what males aged 25 to 45 want to look at. If your music wants to reach females and people outside that, people who you are, then you have to be presenting to them stuff that could be interesting to them. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but that's where it comes into stabbing in the dark, is that I don't. I just no. I'm going to shut up. Julius is on my case. Go. But thank you. What you said is relevant. Go, Julius. Spam me.
Just one sentence. I do not know if you say that in English too, but the dose makes the poison. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And Carl, another thing, I really like the dose of your personal information on social media. I think it's exactly the right dose, and I genuinely enjoy it. So
thank you. Well, and I want to throw this out to everyone that what is the, because the image that you throw out there, the bait you put on the hook is going to define the fish that you catch, using David Lynch, not really at all. I'm going to shut up now. Adam, go. And Mark, I do want to hear from you, so go, Adam.
I love that. I love that idiom. The dose makes the poison. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking is like, so I'm kind of like a high output creative, like many of you are. I do a lot of different things. Like, I'm constantly posting on my Facebook because I've got a DJ show that I do all the time, and then I'm doing this guest DJ thing with the festival, or doing a benefit, or doing something with Carl with something he's doing with MTV TV. We're promoting MTV TV. I've got the band, I've got the record that I'm promoting, and anything that I'm doing with that. And then, I've got my art stuff too. It's like I have so many arts and hobbies that I'm like just kind of constantly up on Facebook being like, here's a new thing that I did. Here's a new thing because that's what I do with my life, right? Is I make stuff. And so like the people that are following my personal page, they're going to see all the stuff that I make kind of all the time. But if you're following my Skeleton Closet page, it's going to be stuff that's relevant to Skeleton Closet. If you're following my DJ page, it's going to be stuff that's relevant to my DJ stuff, and probably Skeleton Closet too. And like, it's kind of having the different compartments and the things that cross over, so that you can capture people from their different interests as well. I will say that there are people that follow me on Facebook that give a crap about the Skeleton Closet, but they love my Electro Swing sets, or they like, something that I did artistically. Like a lot of people in the scene, like before people knew me in the goth scene as a DJ, I was a DJ in top 40 clubs, but I was making chainmail and doing photography in my home scene. And that was how people knew me. And then all of a sudden I'm like, the DJ. So it really depends on the, kind of like, if you're really just like pumping the same thing down everybody's throats time after time after time after time after time after time, it's bullshit and it's repetitive. I think Diana is going to have a really great thing to say about this though, because, she has been managing all the social media stuff for MTV TV, because it is like, it's like being a whole nother person. And so I kind of want to hear what she's got to say, and I'm going to shut up.
Thank you, Adam. Diana, you're at the top of the list. Let me hear your rhythm stick.
All right. So I didn't mean for it to really happen, but I've been sharing my medical journey on my personal pages, and people that know that I'm involved with MTV TV can find my personal page, and I post personal stories there with the medical issues, but then I also post about the MTV TV stuff, and then link it back to the main MTV TV page. So now some people are more like invested in my medical journey, but realize that, hey, you're the person that's doing MTV TV. Hey, maybe we should check that out. On the MTV TV side, what I was trying to say before is that, like, I don't post the same thing on Facebook that I do on Instagram. If you want to find out about, these stories and these playlists, you have to go to the Instagram page. But if you want to know about this other thing, you have to be on the Facebook page. You have to make it very, bring their interest enough so that it's worth investing in all these different things, that this platform has this specific information, but the other platform has this other specific information. So if you want the whole story, you need to invest in all these little different things. I'm trying to explain myself. Adam is better at explaining my brain.
You nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, having little points of interest that are different on the different platforms to keep people interested, and invested in the different platforms that you're on. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think I made my point.
Perfectly. Thank you, Diana. Mark, I want to hear what you have to say.
I think I've largely forgotten my point, but I did want to say I agree with Adam and Diana on the kind of, if you kind of compartmentalize what you're producing, it kind of helps so that people can kind of just subscribe to what they care about. What was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, but as far as posting content that isn't directly related to, like, more of your, slice of life kind of content. I think that content is actually really great as long as it's not like, I'm sorry, I forgot who said it, but someone else said it was just like, hey, I'm eating a sandwich today. Like, if it's interesting kind of behind the scenes stuff, or you just kind of being human, for lack of a better term, like that's great content. But like, if you put it on a personal page, that way people say, oh, I just care about the music, they don't have to see that, they don't want to. But if someone's like, hey, what is this person like as a person? Hey, here you go, cool behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Thank you. I'll just quickly say, I think the biggest, most liked fucking Instagram thing I've ever done was me and Brian standing from the Gossicles, who's got Space Couch on today, FYI, standing in front of a palm tree with sunglasses, nodding our heads. The second biggest one was the one I did here, where I went into the camera, and it lasted 2 seconds. And the third biggest one was me catching a water balloon on the head. Those water balloons, man, I'm telling you. And they're very refreshing in the hot LA weather. Diana, your hand's up again. But I think it was Alex. I'm going to go back to you in a minute, Diana. Alex, what you got?
Yeah, I think that plays into that is if you have the right amount of it, posts that provoke a response are really great, because then you organically boost your own prevalence in the algorithm. Because if you have something that makes people, oh, I want to make a comment about that, could be a question or something that's like something that evokes something in people, that organically would boost your algorithm, because people comment, and maybe you can have conversations with them. And I think these things are the things that really help. And also, I think if you talk in your posts, it's also something that boosts engagement, because people are wired to listen to voices, but you shouldn't overdo it. I think like there's the right amount.
Brilliant, man. I thoroughly agree. Rob, I think I'm going to throw to you. Go.
Yeah, humans just want to be able to communicate, and it's all about being human and showing that you're just the same as everybody else. You might have invested a little bit more in some sort of musical area than most people, and that's what attracts people to you, to be a follower. But they still want to know that you're a human, and they want to have interaction. So in terms of promoting yourself, there's nothing wrong with just a little bit of airtime with people that follow you, and have a conversation with them. It doesn't mean, ramming stuff down their throat all the time. It's the other direction. It's listening to what your audience likes about you, listening to what they think is cool, listening to where they think you should be headed, not be headed, but you know what I'm saying? The main thing is give them the respect that they deserve as your follower, and give them airtime. And there's some really interesting examples out there. I watched Deadmau5 produce some of his lights stage show work in a game engine. Sometimes he'll be in the studio making music. It's good to learn from him, but what's really funny is just watching him have a cigarette, watching him have a drink, and think, this crazy ass fucker might have a lot of money, but he's no different to me. He's just put more eggs in this little basket over here. And that he's become popular there, and life has been good to him. But the thing is he's terrible with his audience. He hates answering questions. He looks at the chat box and swears at people saying stupid shit, which is great because it gives him character. People are interested in his character. It's like Angelspit. Carl, we expect you to be in everybody's fucking face. That's your character. You're out there. You're dangling your junk and slapping people in the face with your junk. And that's what people expect from you. That's the character that you expect. If I watch Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park composing shit on Twitch, completely different. Oh, I'm really nice and I'm really quietly spoken and I'm going to make some really cool tunes and it's magically just going to fucking flow. And it's like, oh, I play Mario Brothers on weekends. And it's like, there's a lot of people watching Mike Shinoda, not just because he was in Linkin Park, but because he's a nice guy and he likes to talk stuff that people talk to him about. He'll constantly ask questions in the chat and constantly answer your questions. Different style to Dead Mouse, but he's got tons of followers in Twitch because of the way that he interacts with his audience. So don't forget your audience.
Totally agree. Lost the mute button for a moment. Thank you very much. Actually, Diana, go and then remind me, who are you? Remind me. I want to close on that question of who are you? Diana, go.
Well, following up with what Rob said, people are investing their time, investing their attention. They want to feel that it's worth it to do so. So involving them in the conversation is a big thing.
Thank you. I've mentioned this before. We're gonna roll this up soon, in like 8 minutes. I've mentioned this before, that it's so important that you know who you are as a performer. Like, what is your, there's the real you, but then, I've had this conversation. I remember, Julius, we spoke about this, that who are you? What is the audience expectation of who you are? Who you are. And that's the really excellent thing about social media and the internet and all of this stuff, is that you can actually, people who are playing the Rockstar game, which is the game that I fucking hate, they don't last very long because you can't keep that shit up. Well, you can if you're a wanker, but it's hard to keep that up all the time. Like, when you're just being you, that's ultimately what you are, giving people is you. Thank you, internet. So my question back to you that you need to think about is, who are you? Like, are you the person that chills out watching Mario, drinking a beer, or are you manically working, or is your 4-year-old nephew throwing water balloons at you? Who are you? And that's the person that you have to embrace. Like, there's an idea in Buddhist ideas, whereas there are 3 versions of you. One is that the you that you see yourself as, which in a lot of our cases isn't very good. One is the you that other people see you as, and one is the person that you actually are. The concept is that they're 3 totally different people. So in the internet, as we worship our great algorithm, the great algorithm wants to know is, who are you? Who is this being that you are projecting? A thought. Become that person. Become that rock star. It's very empowering and fun. Does anybody have any final questions or statements before we're going to raid on over to MTV TV? And then maybe watch Gossicles doing their Space Couch. Anybody, last questions, last drinks, last rounds, know what I mean? Go, Adam.
Be who you are.
Great. That's great. Rob, yes, please.
Just going to circle back to what Mark was saying before about being bombarded, and it depends on why you're being bombarded with music. I do this as a hobby, so my time is precious. I have a career and a day job, and so when I'm doing this in my spare time, I can spend hours doing something for somebody, or I can spend no time doing something for somebody. I get to choose. And I have somebody who sends me the same track over and over again every 3 to 4 hours, even through their nighttime, because they're making tweaks. And I would rather listen to it once and say, microphone technique, get a better amplifier, turn off this, do this, fix it. And then come back to me in like 3 days after you've done like 15 more takes, and then I'll listen to it again. Let people know, give them constructive feedback, and let them know where you stand. What is the relationship? What is the social contract? Like, if you're going to continuously spam me with new music, please send it to somewhere else and just send me a link to where you're sending it to, and we're done. Social contract is ended. I don't have time to listen to every single thing. Having that communication is gold, but also giving them the respect that they deserve as an artist and helping them on their journey. Over.
Perfect. Thanks, mate. I see. Wow, hands. Grim, give me your grimness.
I mean, it bears repeating, but I would say if you are really invested in something and you are very excited about something, you have to post it. You have to do it, regardless of whether or not you think it's whether it's good enough, not good enough, spam, not spam. That's for the whole world to decide. But again, I just think there's too many. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. There's too many people that are just like, I don't think that made the cut. Some of the best things that I ever loved from an artist could have been the B-side. It could have been the track that has no lyrics. It could have been the thing that they didn't feel, that was a completion of their work, but it still kicked ass. So that being said, again, just do it. Just post it.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. I'll say it's funny when you held that up because everyone went. And secondly, I'll say the funny thing about promoting is that by the time it comes time to promote it and release it, you've heard that